This is a Mathswatch instruction video for tutors. We're going to look at how to create classes and add students and creating and marking assignments. First of all, we need to get to Mathswatch. And to do that, we just search for it by typing Mathswatch in the search bar. And then we just click on the Mathswatch site. Now you will need a username and a password. If you haven't got one of these, you should contact your line manager. But once you have one, just click login and it takes you to the site. Now this is the home page on Mathswatch, and the way you navigate around the site is by using the tabs. We've got the classes tab, which is where you can add new classes. You've got the assignments tab, which is where you add new assignments. You've got the users tab, which is where you add new users. The videos tab, which is where all the instructional videos and questions are that Mathswatch has. You have the usage tab, which is where you can see how many students are actually using Mathswatch. And you've got the extras and the contact tab. Now we're going to add a class. Make sure you're in the classes tab. Once you're in the classes tab, you go to view all classes, and then you can see all the classes people have created, but it also gives you the ability to add a new class, and this is the button that you click. Give your class a name, and the agreement in Coleg Cambria is that because we all use Mathswatch, every class starts with your initials. So I'm Angie Penny, so it's AP, and I will put test class 1. The year has to be 2020. As we change academic year, that might be 2021, but the year 2020 takes us up to the end of June 2020. It's a GCSE class, and that's the only option we've got really, because that's what we subscribe to. You can give it a description, but I'm not going to in this case. And then you just click Save Changes. Now, if we refresh the screen, we should be able to see AP Test Class 1, and there it is, AP Test Class 1. That's my class. It's got no students in it, and it's got no homework set. Now, if we go back to the Classes tab, and we're in the View My Classes tab, you can see that my class, the one I've just created, the test class, isn't there. It is there if we view all classes. If we scroll down, oops, there it is there. But if I wanted it in View My Classes, it isn't there, as we can see. Now, the way you get it into the list of your classes is actually to go to the Users tab, search for yourself, Angie Penny, there I am, click on Angie Penny, click Edit User, and I find the class I've just created, which is here, AP Test Class 1. You can see it's got no students, so I'm going to just tick that box, scroll down to the bottom, click Save Changes. Now, if I go back to the classes and then just again refresh the screen, see that the test class is now there on View My Classes. And now we're going to add some students one by one and then in the group. So the first thing to do is to click on the Users tab, then click on Create User. You give the student a username. You can choose. I always give them their email address, which say is 456, which is their student number at cambria.ac.uk. The password, I give everybody the same password in the class to ensure that they can remember it and I can remember it too. Then you write their first name, in this case Peter Smith. The email address, of course, is the same as the username. And the year, up until July the 1st this year, it will be 2020. It will change next year. And you look down the classes. Here are the classes that have been set up. And remember, I set up the test class. So I'm going to now add them to that test class. So I click the test class. I've added them. And now I'm going to go and scroll down and save the changes. I don't want that. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the Classes tab, check my test class, and there he is, Peter Smith. You can see that I've added him as a student. The other way of adding students is to add them as a group, and for this you need to go to the Extras tab, download the Upload template. Now this upload template simply asks for some student details, first name, last name, the account type, and so on. So you fill that in for your class of students. And then what you do is you go back to Mathswatch, go to the Users tab, go to Upload, pick the file that you've just saved, the upload template, click open, and it will enable you to upload your students. I'm not going to do that because I don't have a group of students to upload. And that's how you add students or upload students. If you ever need to edit a student, say they've forgotten their password, you quite simply just make sure you're on the Users tab, search for the user's name. Well, I think it was Peter I added, wasn't it? Peter, there he is, Peter Smith. You can see he's in my test class. So I'm going to edit him, and now I can edit his password. I can put him in a different class. They can go in more classes than one. So you can really change your student details here. Now we're going to look at creating and adding assignments. Now we need to go to the Add Assignments or the Assignments tab, and this is where you can see lots of assignments that I've already created. Let's have a look at one. Fractions, adding, subtracting and multiplying. To have a look, you click on it and then you click Preview. And as you can see, there are loads of questions in this assignment, up to 17. This is what students will see when they click on to their My Work. They'll see an overview of what they have to do, which is 17 questions worth 37 marks. If they want to, they can have a look at the videos before they start, or if they just want to go straight into the questions, they could just click these question numbers along the top. So if they click number 1, this is the first question. And the question is, what fraction of each of the following shapes is shaded? Well, of course, A is 3/4. And so the student would quite simply put 3/4 into the box. They complete all the questions and then they would click Submit. As you can see, I've got that one right, which is fine. If a student struggles with the questions, quite simply, all they would do is to scroll down, and you'd instruct them on this, scroll down and have a look at the video. This is the video. It's 4 minutes long, as you can see, 4:35. So that's the longer video, Introduction to Fractions. But if they just want a reminder, they can view the 1 minute video, and that video is less than a minute. So it's up to them whether they need just a reminder or whether they want to actually view the full video. One thing I want to mention here is that tutors have the ability to see the answers on this screen. So say I wanted to check the answers to some of these questions, I quite simply go to the Show Answers tab, and if I click that, the answers will appear in red in the boxes, and hide answers to take the answers away. Students don't have that facility. They can't see the answers. So that's an assignment, but let's go back and see how you actually create an assignment that you can allocate to your class. So first of all, click the Assignments tab, and that'll take you back to all the assignments. Click the Create button, and then on this screen you've got Find a Clip, choose the clip you want, give your assignment a title, and it lists the clip name. So I'm going to look at Pythagoras, I think. So you can actually choose the different tiers here. I choose all because I can judge the grade my class are at. So I'm going to put Pythagoras into the search bar. As you can see, I don't need to write it out all because all the Pythagoras clips have come up here. So what I'm going to do is to choose one of the clips, say this first one, the simple approach to Pythagoras. I'm going to have a look at the questions. There's 3 standard questions, and then there's 11 difficult questions. You can also have a look at the video as well, if you wanted to. So before I assign these questions, I'm just going to check that they're appropriate for my class. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. So I'm going to add that one. Then I'll move on to question 2. Yeah, I like that one. So that's 2 fairly straightforward ones. And then I want to add maybe a couple of more difficult ones. So I click on the difficult tab, have a look at that one. Yeah, I think that's quite tricky for extension work. And maybe one more difficult one. And there we are. I'll add that. Okay, once I've done that, I need to now give my assignment a name. So I go down to the assignment details box. I'm going to give it a title, which is Pythagoras. You could do some notes. I never really do. And then I click Save Changes. Once I've done that, I can see that my Pythagoras homework is now in my assignment list. So if I wanted to have a look at that to make sure it was okay, I'd click on Pythagoras, click Preview. I can see I've got 4 questions, a couple of easy ones, and a couple of the more difficult ones. Don't forget to advise your students that they can scroll down if they need to look at the video, either before attempting the question or any time really. So once we've got our assignments, it's now time to allocate them to the test class. So what I'm going to do now is click on the assignment I've just created, and then I go to the button Assign to Class. So this brings up a screen which allows me to assign it to my class. The assignment title is Pythagoras. I could change it here. I could add some notes. I'm not going to. The assignment type is homework. Even if it's classwork, I just set it as homework, because if you set it as a test, they can't see the videos. So I'm going to leave it as homework. It's not intervention. The class, then you pick the class you're going to allocate it to. So I need to find my test class. Hopefully it's here somewhere. There it is there. You can, and I found this feature really useful, you can add it to more than one class at any one time. But I'm going to add it to my test class. So I've done that. Click outside the box. The assigned date is today. You can change it, but I'm going to leave it as today. The due date, well, I'm going to give them a week to do it. So I want them to do it by the 12th. And then it's locked the week after. In some cases, the due date might be the end of the year if you want them to have it all year, because once it's locked, they won't be able to attempt it. Click Save Changes. And now the assignment Pythagoras is in my test class. It's assigned on the 5th of the 4th and it's due on the 12th of the 4th, 2020. This right-hand side of the screen here shows you all the work that has been assigned. So you can filter it. So if I filter it by class, if I find my test class here, there it is at the bottom. So if I click on my test class, you can see that Pythagoras is assigned. If I click on another class of mine, say it's Friday at 1 p.m, there was a couple of assignments I created for Joe, who just needed a bit of extra help. Or maybe let's have a look at another class of mine, Tuesday, 2 p.m. As you can see, I assigned them lots of homeworks. I even used the assignments to enable them to do some revision for their mock in February. Before we leave this assignments tab, one thing I wanted to show you, which I've found really useful, you can have a look at what assignments other tutors have made, and you can duplicate them and use them with your own classes. So the way you do that is you click View, and you can see that's me there. Maybe Carl Sinnott, let's have a look at what he's created, and you can see he's created quite a few. And if I wanted to copy one, I'd simply click on it and duplicate it. I'd obviously go in and have a look first to make sure it was what I wanted. And then I would quite simply go into it and duplicate it. After the class has done the work you've set, you need to go in and have a look at the marks they've achieved and record them somewhere. So the way you do that is to go back to the classes tab. I'm not going to choose my test class because I've got a fictitious student in there. I'm going to choose an existing class. So I click on my Tuesday morning class and I can see all the students in my Tuesday morning class. These are the homeworks I've set them. I'm going to have a look at homework 11, which was the mock revision. So I just click on that link and that actually will download me an Excel file of their marks. As you can see, the list of students is here, their overall marks is here, and then there is a bit of an analysis per question. I normally take those marks and record them in my tracking document. But let's get back to if I wanted to actually go into one student, Emma Jones, who's a good student. I want to actually go and see which questions she got wrong. So if I click on her and click on the homework, I can see that she got all these questions right. They're all in green, apart from question 3, which she got wrong. Question was, what's the difference between these two numbers? Choose the correct answer. She chose question C. That's what this is telling me. But the actual answer, and I click to show answers, is answer D, 44.8. So she's obviously got some kind of misconception there. So I would analyze that in a bit more detail. Now you can give her feedback here, but what I do is I link Mathswatch with Google Classroom and give her feedback via her Google Classroom. And that's the end of Mathswatch. If you need any help with anything on Mathswatch, please feel free to either email me or give me a call, and hopefully I'll be able to help.